Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bikinis After Babies. Thank you so much for joining us today. As always, I am one of your hosts, Mandy Rashad, here with your other host, IFBB Pro, Jillian Hughes.
Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today. It's the new year. We are so happy that you're here. And today we are going to do a January Q&A. We have compiled. That's a new word, compiled. We've combined some questions from both of our rosters of clients and then also from listeners. And so if you're listening now and you're like, oh, I didn't even know I could do that, totally submit your questions because we love doing Q&As. We want to definitely bring information to you that is helpful. So we're going to do that today. But first, we're going to begin with a little recap. And we've had some treacherous winter weather here in the Midwest. We're
We
alive
live,
and
we survived a
surviving, but
blizzard
yeah,
of 2025.
snowmageddon never fails. So how you living, Mandy? You hanging in there?
Oh, so I'm hanging in there. I'm not sure being in Kansas City, so I am 3.5 hours away from Jillian, and I am not sure who got it worse. I'm pretty sure we did.
You did,
But
and you got it a few days before we did.
well, I did you guys okay, so here what happened was Saturday, everybody knew that the snow and ice, we all knew this was gonna happen Saturday night. So everybody was out Friday night and Saturday morning, and we got all our stuff. We were all good, and we got in our house by like 1. So nothing was supposed to start till later. But all of a sudden at like 3 o'clock, just a blanket of mist came through and froze everything. Like it happened so fast that, I mean, every major highway got closed, accidents everywhere. Like it
Mm-hmm.
was so scary. Like if you were out on the road, it didn't matter what vehicle you were in. Like there was semis flipped over. It was terrible.
Yeah.
So after that, like we just stayed in and watched the blizzard basically. It came down like crazy on Sunday. I think we had like at one point we were getting like an inch an hour. Like it was just insane. So
Yeah.
yeah, we just stayed hunkered down. Like I'm a homebody anyways. I don't really crave to go out. Aaron does. So like I think at some point on Sunday he like went over to the gas station. But he has a brand new like nice truck and so he was okay, but still, I mean, it was terrible. Like it was freezing outside and we made it through. I went to the gym a few times. He drove me. But other than that, we've just been staying in. And now today we're getting more snow or tonight we're getting a little bit more
Yeah,
snow.
we are too. Yep.
So
Same things. Lovely.
yeah, everything here has been canceled. Like I felt like Monday was like a random holiday. Like Starbucks was canceled, grocery or closed. Like everything was closed here.
It was like, and we had spring break. I don't know why I keep saying that. We had winter break and the kids were all supposed to go back Monday. And
Hmm.
I was like, I don't think we're going to have school. And then Monday, we're like, we're going to have it Tuesday. No, no, we didn't have it yesterday. We're back today. It's Thursday that we're
See, we're
recording this.
not.
But
Yeah.
like a lot of other areas in the St. Louis community are not yet. And then my son messaged me this morning and he's like, they're talking about virtual school tomorrow because I think we're supposed to like get more. And I will say, like last night I went out and took my daughter to practice and came back and like it was getting colder and like more icy and there's still a lot of like overpasses and exits that are like not great. I had
Oh yeah.
put my Jeep in four-wheel drive. I had to get out of the house because I'd just been on like isolation, like basically from having my wisdom tooth out, and
Hmm.
I just get back to the gym and then we get a snowstorm. I'm like, I'm not skipping the gym. Like I have to get there. So
Yeah.
my husband took me one day and then the next day I was able to drive in the Jeep. It just went slow and it was kind of great because I love an empty gym. Like you're like a
Yeah.
homebody, but I like the gym to myself kind of girl. And it was like paradise because I was
See,
by myself.
when I went to the gym, there was like plenty of people. It was like no different that if I like not going. I didn't go. I can't remember. I went like I think I went Tuesday, Wednesday. What is today? So today's Thursday. So
Hmm.
yeah, I went Tuesday or no, Wednesday I worked out here. I was like, wait a minute, what happened Wednesday? So I worked out at home because I just had to do shoulders and I
Yeah.
have like a really good setup here for shoulders. Like I can do that. Legs I wouldn't be able to do here at home. But yeah, that and also if you guys are watching, you can see the shelves behind me are completely
Yeah.
barren. So we're getting ready to move. So we are renting out our house. We've had quite a few people come and look, which is really awesome. It sounds like we found some really good renters. So I'm excited for that. But we've like packed up another phase of our house. So my shelves will stay barren. And then when we move, it will be interesting how I decide to like do the podcast because I can go to Aaron's office, but that's downtown. Or like I'll probably have a setup in our new house for a little bit before our offices are built. So
Yeah, it'd be
yeah,
cool to see you in
I
different
know.
locations. Remember that
I
one
know.
time we tried to like record? You were in Florida, and I was like,
Yes.
"Oh, it'd be so cool to have you recording from Florida." And then like we didn't have enough like Wi-Fi on your
It
end to
was
like,
my Wi-Fi. Yeah.
yeah,
It
because we
wouldn't
were in a
work.
hotel.
Hmm.
So I know this requires a bit more broadband, I guess, than we need.
Yeah.
But
It will be
yeah,
interesting. Like I'll probably record in the house. So we will get a 3 bedroom, 1.5 bath house, and then we have a big shop that is massive that we're building 3 offices in. And so when my office is built, that'll be the final place. But I think we're gonna take a minute. It's gonna take a second to like put up the drywall. Like the structure and electricity and stuff are there. We just gotta actually put up like the drywall and different things
put up
there.
like a
So
posing room slash like
we will.
recording studio. Awesome.
Well, the thing is massive. Like this shop is massive. So the offices, we have 2 offices and a conference room. We'll have an area for where like Carson wants to do like all his wrestling, boxing. We'll have mirrors posing. We'll have weightlifting cable machines. We'll set up like the whole like thing
Yeah,
for that
cool.
shop. Yeah, it's massive. Like
It's good to have that, especially with the weather. Having
yeah.
a backup and having equipment at home and all
Hmm.
that stuff, it helps for sure.
It is. It is. I did go to the grocery store today, but still I had Aaron drive me. I just
Yeah,
yeah.
it's still a little dicey here, but you know.
Our our main roads are okay. So like if you make it to the highway, you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
But like our neighborhoods and side streets are terrible. Like they're
Yeah,
not good. So it's yeah. I don't know how much snow we're supposed to get overnight, but we'll see. We're surviving. We're
nothing
entering
like a
this
3 week Christmas break. just to just to remind you how fun it is having
I know.
school age kids.
That
Oh
and
my
then like
gosh.
living where we live. Like we have all the seasons. We might be in like super hot where it's like we can't go
Hmm.
outside because we're gonna get like a heat stroke, or we're like here where we're gonna get like hypothermia. You know
Do you know what's good about it though? I just had like an epiphany.
what?
Next Wednesday is January 15th. We made it halfway through the month, baby.
I
Because
was like,
January feels like it's like 60 days long.
yeah.
And like when I was like undecorating my house and like sadly putting the tree away, I'm like, I hate January because it's like such a long month. We're almost halfway through it because of
Yeah.
all this craziness. So,
Oh my gosh, that's true. I
so
didn't
maybe
think
that
of
was a
that.
good thing. I don't know. January sucks.
Yeah. So this kind of start we can start talking about, the Q&As that we get cuz like you said, like I have clients that will ask me things and sometimes they may seem obvious to people that have been like you and I have been doing this for a really long time. So sometimes things can seem like really obvious to us, but like when we get
Hmm.
asked questions, it's like, you see that pattern of like the same kind of question or like thing is being asked and you're like, okay,
Hmm.
maybe we should just talk about it. So I will say something that's really common right now as we enter into January is a lot of people do plan vacations right now. Like they do. They plan like they want to get out of the weather. They're over the holidays, so they're
Hmm.
going to go take trips, spring break, before spring break. So there's a lot of trips going on. And I always get like how do I pack to go through TSA? Is probably like
Oh, okay.
is like really common. Like
Hmm.
we at Momshell, like you have created this great PDF, and I'm pretty sure I share that like all the time. But just to kind of touch on that PDF, and if you're a Momshell client, like we can share that with you.
Hmm.
But with that PDF, it goes into great detail on like how to pack going through TSA. And TSA, not like it's gotten a little easier when it comes to packing, but you can still pack like all your food in your backpack. If you have a checked bag, you can freeze your food. You can put it in a freezer bag, have it checked, go through the flight with you. You can have small condiments with you. You can have like your rice cakes with you. Like a
Yeah.
lot of things can go
I
through
take
TSA.
everything,
I
especially
do.
traveling for bodybuilding, because
Oh
I
yeah.
don't want to get somewhere and be like, oh, I need 7 chicken breasts. And then
Hmm.
I get chicken breasts that are made a different way than what I've been eating. And now I have more sodium in my body, which it's not the end of the world, but it can really throw off your physique if you are
Yeah.
all of a sudden introducing new foods and new seasonings and whatnot. And also, like, what if you don't have access to things? Like, I went to several national shows, and none of the grocery stores or convenience stores within walking distance had any bottled water. So like you have to have a
Oh.
plan for like
Hmm.
everything, right? You could get there and they don't have any chicken, you know, whatever it is. So I think it's just knowing the rules, and it's not really that hard. People are always amazed, and I've had
Yeah,
myself searched probably every time, if I'm honest, because it
I
just
do
looks
too.
funny on the X-ray. But what I do is, because you can't take ice packs. And the gel packs, you can't, I think
See,
there's a certain volume that you can have. So I just freeze my food and
I
I
can
take it
take
through that way.
I've been able to take ice packs. Like the
Maybe
last
it's the small ones that
I
you can have,
they
I
are.
think.
They're not huge. Like, so if I on my carry-on, I will have my backpack and I always get checked too. Like it's you're always going to get checked. But I've been able to have like I will put my food and I'll put a freezer pack on top of it, and then I will usually put another freezer pack on like the next level. I'll try to like box it in, and then I'll have it
Hmm.
in like it's not it's kind of like a freezer bag. I'll do this for like small, and then I'll do a big freezer bag. Like you said, I'll freeze my food, have it in a freezer bag in my carry-on or on check bag, but carry on, I'll have like a small ice pack and it'll keep it cold, really, and almost freeze the top of it, of course, and then it will go through TSA. And I haven't had a problem with it. They don't like condiments, though, is the only thing. Like with condiments, I kind of just
Yeah,
unfortunately
you
like
just
put
have
it
to
on the
have them.
wayside.
I put them in shampoo bottles. So I get
Oh,
like
you
those
said.
squeezy bottles, like,
Mm-hmm.
you can just buy. Actually, I have a whole Amazon storefront of my travel things like that I take in because I have a baby scale. I have a collapsible gallon water jug that I
Mm-hmm.
just fill up when I get there. So I don't have to worry about buying bottled water. I have, just everything that I use. And really, like, I freeze everything so that it stays cold. And then I have one meal that's, most of the time I've got to eat a meal while I'm traveling, either if I'm,
Mm-hmm.
have a layover or something like that. And then that one goes in the top of my, lunchbox inside of the Hot Logic. So all I have to do is plug it in, and then 30 minutes later I can eat it. That one is the only one that's defrosted. Otherwise, they're all frozen. And where am I going that is not going to stay frozen? Like, I
Yeah.
even flew from St. Louis to Sacramento, and that was like a longer flight. I went all the way over to California, and everything was still frozen when I got there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yogurt you can't take because it's 5.3 ounces, and everything has to be, I think, is under four.
I've never
Um,
packed a yogurt. I didn't think of that.
it happens all the time because people think it's like small enough, but it has to be under 4 ounces. So you can't pack a yogurt. It seems small enough. And then I've had people say like their jar of peanut butter was confiscated. I
Yep.
also think like supplements, people are like, can you take supplements? I just pre-portion them and put them in
Mm-hmm.
baggies and label them. And I mean, a bag of white powder, like these people are trained professionals. They're not going to
And they
think
check
you're
it.
strawberry kiwi pre-workout is like drugs, right? So I take everything, and I've never had anything taken away. And the reason why I don't check it is the same reason why I don't check my bikini and I don't check my jewelry and my shoes, because those are all things that I need to compete. Like if nothing else arrives, if I've got my food and my bikini and my heels and my jewelry, I'm good to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
So otherwise everything, I check. But I travel a ton and I take everything with me, and I think I've probably got a permanent story post breaking it all down. I just baggie it all. And then
Yeah.
that way I don't have to bring a bunch of dishes home. But then I also have a collapsible bowl that I can use. There was one year I stopped doing this because this was just excessive, but I had like a little plug-in warmer. It was like
Yeah.
this big, and then I would heat my food up in it, which was great. But then I think on one of my trips, one of the little legs broke off of it, and I was like, I remember one year having to pack it and being afraid my suitcase was going to light on fire because it was still warm from my
Yeah.
breakfast. I'm like, I don't think I should keep bringing this. Like, most of the time they have a microwave somewhere in
Mm-hmm.
the hotel if you need something really fast, but the little Hot Logic warmer gets everything warm within 30 minutes. So I just kind of like, okay, I'm going to eat in 30 minutes. I'll heat up my food, whatever. But
Yeah.
it can be done. It's doable. But don't
Yeah.
go to a place and be like, not have any food with you, and then be like, what do I do now? Like, you can't rely on having access to things because sometimes your schedule
Mm-hmm.
doesn't allow, or the
Yeah.
hotel doesn't have what you need.
Yeah, and that's the same with like if you're going to a hotel, or if like I have people that go to like their fiance, boyfriend, husband's like dinners, or they're going like out of town for work and they're like, "Oh, I have the menu. I have the menu." I'm like, "Listen. Like you can have a menu and like they will tell you, and I can't tell you how many times I've seen it, something happens and that's not what they serve. They change,
Yeah.
something happens. And it's not that they're doing it on purpose, but they could have ran out of food or something didn't ship properly or whatever happened on their end, and all of a sudden you thought you were going to have chicken. Well, they changed it and now you're going to have lasagna. And like imagine that you weren't prepared for that. And
I
so
know.
it's better to be prepared and to know what you're eating and to control what you're eating and then to just be in a situation where you're screwed really. So it's crazy, but like I still constantly get the TSA, like going through TSA, and then I send them all the information that we have and
Some people just don't
reassure
travel
them.
very much either, right? Like
Yeah.
maybe they fly once a year or if that. I think just with cheer and bodybuilding, like that's just, I'm used to
Yeah.
traveling and taking my life with me. And I just found little ways and I haven't had any issues, honestly. So,
Yeah, I feel like that from expediting, like I feel like hotels and traveling, I'm just like they're almost like a second home now.
yeah.
Like we were at a hotel last night because we had to go to a dinner and I had like my big clunky coat and I didn't want to carry it in. I was like, "Oh, go ask the front. I'm going to go to the front desk, tell them to do this, this, this." And like it's just like you kind of just get used to it. Like it's not
Yeah.
foreign anymore, so it's like whatever you need or you need to kind of create like somehow some way like you can get it done. So
Yeah.
that was
That's a good
that's
question.
always a big.
Yeah.
Mhm. So
Yeah.
your turn.
Oh, okay. Well, on my little list here. Let's see.
Do you need your readers? Do you need your readers?
I do. Honestly, I should be wearing them, but there's so much lighting on here to make me look young and fabulous that if I wear my readers, they will reflect all of the lighting and give away my secret. So I need like this.
You can do it.
Um,
Just squint. You got it. I believe in
well,
you.
I'll tell you, in the recovery from the wisdom tooth, day like 1 through 4 was like fine. Day 5, 6, and 7 were like the worst. Like
Really?
I had all kinds of like sinus pressure and swelling just from like the healing process. So like wearing glasses on my nose was like
Ooh.
really tricky. But then I got a headache from not wearing my glasses. But then I put my glasses on, then I would get a headache from wearing my glasses. So it was like, I think it was like
Mm,
Monday that I was just like, like it's no joke. Wisdom tooth procedures are no joke,
they're
seriously.
insane.
But we're on the other side of it now.
Yes.
Um, okay. What supplements are required for prep?
The word required is interesting. Just
I
because like
know.
if you think it's always going to be I don't want to say always going to be different for people. But like you're not really required.
No.
There's recommendations.
The reason why they're called supplements is because they supplement your
Mhm.
diet and training. But I will say that years ago, my supplement regimen was like off the frickin' chain. Like, cause I was taking everything. I
Yeah.
was like self-coached and my, well, he's now my ex-husband, but he was a supplement guy and, oh, take this. I know you gotta take this. You gotta take this. I had like a fishing tackle box and there were so many. So I feel like that's the extreme opposite. I feel like with our clients, like we have more of like a minimalistic approach because I think we do want people to realize that like their results come from their efforts in the gym and their solid nutrition, but I think supplements just really like fill in the gaps, and can optimize things like training, sleep, digestion, energy levels, cellular function, things like that. So I definitely take more as a 44-year-old than I did before, just because I'm, more aware of like the needs of somebody in like perimenopause and wanting to just make sure that I keep myself optimal. And really, it's more preventative. I think a lot of my supplements
Yeah.
are like preventative supplements to help keep me healthy, not like trying to correct something. And I think that's probably the issue is that when people are like, I have this problem, and then they take a supplement to fix it,
That's a good
like,
way to look at it. Like it to be more preventative and helpful than it is to fix or like
mhm.
address an issue.
Because
Because
that's
it's
really what
not,
like medicine's for. Like
yeah,
medicine is for that, really.
it's not gonna like magic like fat burners. Like you're not magically gonna burn fat, you know? So like I think about the supplements that I'm taking right now because I'm taking like supplements that I didn't take before, you know? I'm
Hmm.
not in prep right now, but like I take like supplements to help like my ovaries. I take supplements that like D3, K. I take a lot of things that are going to be more health oriented and to be better as I get older.
Hmm.
But at the same time, like I still take amino acids. Like I still take creatine and
Yeah.
glutamine, and so I still, and a lot of people, supplements also like protein powders. Like I have some clients that have like protein powders they like to take on their off days compared to not to the protein powders they take on their off days compared to protein powder they drink after their workout, and I'm totally fine with
Right.
that. So like there's some clients that have more supplements and I have some clients that don't, but I do have clients that will message me, be like, do you think this will help me lose fat, or do you think this will help me lose weight? And they'll
Yeah.
send me it and I'll be like, this isn't going to help you do that. What's going to
Right.
help you do that is nutrition, rest, recovery, training. This will assist those things, but it's not going to give you the result like you want. You got to put in the work. So,
Yeah, 100%. And I think like, with what we're doing, getting on stage and like trying to, keep as much muscle as possible, like that's the role of a lot of supplements in this process to be able to like make our bodies most efficient at like, using the right source of energy for fat loss and for energy. So like, we'll use things like L-carnitine, which
yeah.
is something that's helpful. But again, I still feel like that's something that like you'll read studies that say it doesn't even do what it's supposed to, or it has to be this particular kind. And then you question, okay, well, where did they get it from? And, what is the dose and all this stuff, right? And the timing of some of these supplements, it gets like very high level. And so sometimes that part can be where it's like, well, what is really the point, right? But I think things like, BCAAs, creatine, like you mentioned, like those are going to help with our efforts to preserve muscle mass and keep lean tissue while we're training. And things like magnesium, always a great supplement for athletes, just in energy production and recovery and all those things. So I think there's a lot of things that you could probably take. Like I watched this show on Netflix. I think I told you about this show. It's called Don't Die. If you're listening and you are a competitor, you'll like this show. It's like a documentary about this guy, and he's like just a really wealthy man. I think he actually like created Venmo and then sold it. And during the process of like building his company, he got very unhealthy, he was very depressed, and he became like almost like obsessive about anti-aging and getting healthy. And they like listed his supplement regimen. I was like pausing the TV and taking pictures of the TV so I could like just see what it was,
Yeah.
and it was all like anti-aging, like all these things, right? So I think that some people can get a little bit carried away, and and then I'm wondering like, wow, like you do all those things, like how do you know which one's working? And
Yeah.
like that's the other part of it too. So, and it can be really expensive. Like sometimes girls will
Yep.
come to me and they're following some influencer and they bought everything from this one supplement company, and everything's 50, 60, $70, and they're taking
Mhm.
13 things and they're like 27 years old. I'm like, wait a minute. Like
Yeah.
this is a lot for like a healthy young person. So,
Yeah. And it not just that it gets so expensive, but you can always like find the answer that like you're trying to look for. So like for example, not only like let's say imagine you're taking all of these supplements, but like what if you start questioning the supplements? Like I have a family member, her and I like go head to head about this. It's so it for fun. She hates supplements. And when I say supplements, I mean she even hates multivitamins. Like I'm not talking about she just like hates them. She's older generation. Okay. So if you go down any rabbit hole, you'll find the combative side of it. So like if you are
mhm,
thinking like, "Oh, is the supplement even working?" and you go down the rabbit hole of is the supplement even working? You'll find the answer will be no. If you go down the rabbit hole of the supplement working, you'll find the answer to be yes. Everybody is going to have like their opinion and they're going to have
mhm.
like their sides to it, and there will supplements are just one of those things where it's so different per person. And you got to think about marketing. Like these
Yeah.
supplements are so heavily marketed that like a really good example, oh my gosh, what's it called? It was so popular because when you said anti-aging, I thought about it. It's that NAR supplement. Oh, I'm
Mhm.
blanking on what it is, but it was like this it became like this huge trend to take this vitamin and it's like NAQ or something. It's supposed to be this huge.
NAD.
Yes, okay, there we go.
Yeah. Mhm.
That anti-aging, but there's this huge study that talks about because everybody started taking the supplement as a pill form. It's very you can
Right.
get it on Amazon. It's huge anti-aging. Famous people take it. If you go down this rabbit hole and you research, you find out that through our digestive system it dies. Like it doesn't even do anything. You got to take it intravenously.
Yeah.
Okay, do you know how expensive that is? So famous people are probably doing it.
Yeah,
There's
but
no
getting
doubt to that.
infusions in their house.
It's
Yeah.
so expensive. And so like yeah, is it probably working? Yeah, but not in the pill form. So it like it's just like this huge world of like
Yeah.
supplements where you don't want to overtake them. You don't want to overdo them, but there is like a nice way to take like a decent amount of supplements that will assist you in your progress. Whether it's
Right.
like being healthier, being an athlete, being a mom, just it will help you, but you don't need
Mhm.
to like, especially with the gummies. We could talk about this forever now that
Oh
I think about
God, the
it.
gummies.
You hate the
I
gummies. You
can't. I
talk so
hate
much
it.
shit on the gummies.
Like oh, my gummy multivitamin, my gummy collagen, and my gummy apple cider vinegar. I'm like,
Okay, so I have
no.
so funny thing. I told you I had trouble. So I had trouble sleeping last night. I tossed and turned. I just couldn't go to sleep. I was like, okay, well, I'm out of melatonin. I remember Carson had some melatonin and it was a gummy melatonin. And I thought about you because I'm like, you hate these gummy things.
Yeah, because they're for kids.
I
Like my
know.
kids have gummy vitamins, um, but they're candy. I'm like, come
Hmm.
on, come on. And like, I don't know, I
And
don't
if you
know.
take so many, that's different too. Like,
Yeah,
it's a
like if
lot
you
of them.
like have like a gummy of everything, and then well, I'm not losing weight because
Hmm.
you're like taking in like 20 grams of sugar and vitamins in the morning, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that just like in summary, like if you are not sleeping and you are eating terrible and you're not getting enough water and you are smoking and drinking alcohol and you only go to the gym once a week and you starve yourself, no vitamin is going to help you. So that's why I say they just really supplement. So which supplements are required for prep? Probably none. But we have definitely like our favorites. So maybe that's a
Yeah.
better way to segue that question. It's sort of like, what are your favorite supplements in prep?
Yeah.
So, which I can tell you what they are. I mean, for me, like I take magnesium, protein, creatine, glutamine, BCAAs. Um, I mean, there's like, it's not like, oh, I'm in
Yeah.
prep now. Now I'm going to get this particular supplement. There actually isn't. Now that I think about it, it's not like, oh, I'm going into prep, so let me go on
Like
this.
trying to,
I don't even take L-carnitine. Like a lot of our clients will take it. And it's definitely like part of like a fat loss protocol, but it's something that I w- consistently forget to take. So I'm like, I'm not going to, you
I
know,
take it in prep. I take a swig of it in prep because I have an
I've gotten
L-carnitine
lean
that
with
I
it and gotten
like.
lean without it. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's one more thing,
I'm
right?
trying to think. I think the L-carnitine, I think everything that you named. So like if when I'm
Collagen too. I take collagen.
yeah, but I take that out of prep too. Yeah. So
Yeah,
collagen,
exactly. Yeah.
protein, amino acids,
Hmm.
BCAAs. I do, well, obviously I'll do a pre-workout, but I'll do like a non-stim pre-workout because I don't do like too much caffeine.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, there's nothing. I mean, fish oil, multivitamin.
Yeah, fish oil, vitamin
Oh,
D and K.
I take DHEA, but I take that anyways, like in and out of prep.
I only take
But I
that if
go
I need to
down.
take it. Like when I get my labs done, like every 6 months, and if I'm deficient in it, I would take it. But my DHEA is always okay. So,
See, I was low a while ago, and then I started low, and during my prep, I got up to like a certain milligram, and then like I dropped back down.
well, that's it
Um,
too, right? Like, don't take something unless you know you're deficient in it. Because, like, what if
mhm.
you are, like, I had a client who has low cholesterol. And so, like, there's certain supplements that lower your cholesterol. So she can't take them because she already has low cholesterol. So I think that's an important thing too. Like you might see that one competitor is taking this protocol and then you order everything and buy it. Well, your body and your labs and everything are going to be different than that person, right? So you can't really go off of what someone else is doing or what someone else recommends. And again, if you just look at all the reviews and all the research, you might be like, oh, this looks perfect for me, but it's all coming from that company that made that product. So
Yeah. Something else I will say with supplements when you're in prep is you want to stay consistent. That
yeah.
is another thing is consistency. When you start something in prep, you don't want to mess with it. Like if you
Hmm.
start something and you're good, your body agrees with it, everything's going well, it's good for your budget, like don't change it. Just write it out through prep.
Hmm.
And like when you're done with prep, you're in an improvement season, like you have time. If you want to try to change it up a little bit, that's when you do it. But if you're in prep and you've been taking the same like brand of protein, BCAAs and like pre-workout, don't all of a sudden like I don't know, like you've been taking it the whole time and you're like 5 weeks away from your show and you decide to change up your, brands and like because you wanted to save money or something, just don't do it. Like
Yeah.
it can mess with your
Keep everything
digestion.
the same.
Yep,
Hmm.
it can mess with too much stuff when you're in prep. Your body's too sensitive. So just
Like,
keep
don't switch your protein or anything. Like,
mm-mm.
don't try a new pre workout. Like, that's not the time to be trying
Mm-hmm.
anything. Just keep it all the same. And then after prep, you can change things,
Yeah.
and try not to run out of things either. Cause I know for me, like, if I run out of, like, I'm trying to think. I mean, my digestion's really on track now, but like magnesium, for example, like I would make sure I definitely don't run out of that because that can affect things as far as like sleep recovery and all of that.
That
So,
is probably the one supplement I'm always like recommending to clients. It will
hmm
always be like magnesium. Like I was, thinking about like what I kind of recommend. And most of my clients, like when they start with me, it's usually the protein powder, BCAAs, collagen.
hmm
But if like we're chucking along and I'm like, let's start taking magnesium.
yeah.
It's usually one
It's
thing.
great for a lot of reasons. And, for a
Hmm.
lot of my clients, I have lots of ladies in like perimenopause. And so it's a great supplement for that, for brain, for recovery, for digestion. Because, well, the one that I usually recommend is Magnesium Breakthrough. It's by Bio Optimizers.
Yeah.
Um, and, it's got 7 different types of magnesium because they're not all created equal. And then I've had some people, I think this happened to you, where you were like stacking magnesiums and you ended up with belly
Oh,
problems
oh
because
yeah.
there's I think it's citrate. Magnesium citrate causes like diarrhea basically. So if you can overdo that magnesium, but there's like 6 other forms of magnesium that your body really does need. So,
So I take magnesium citrate. I used to. Now I take a complex. I like citrate. The thing that one is most known for is the peristalsis in your intestines. Like it
hmm
helps with the movement. So it helps with digestion. So mine wasn't just that. My silliness. I was taking magnesium. I was taking another supplement that had magnesium, and I ended up like having a drink like that. I had like a it was from the shows. I had like a supplement and I was taking the supplement because it tasted good. And all of a sudden I just had terror. Like everything was running right through me. I freaked out. I never had that happen. And it was that I just overdid it.
yeah.
But yeah, once I like fixed it, I mean, it went away really fast, but like
hmm
you don't feel good. It takes a minute to like feel better.
Yeah.
Hmm. So yeah, it
Yeah.
does. So something else that I don't know. I think this is a very like common thought. I have this question from my clients a lot, but I think this is a thought in general with like people that get consistent with their training, especially when we have like a blizzard and you're stuck inside or your kids don't have school. But it's like your schedule of training and can you move it around? Can you move your days around? Does it going to affect anything? If you swap days, swap your rest days. So if you're in prep, and I know you can speak more of this, I'll speak on the lifestyle side. It really doesn't. On the lifestyle side, if you I actually had quite a bit of it this week, of course, because the blizzard, but also because of other things going on in my clients' lives that are in different locations that aren't affected by the blizzard. But there's things that are going to come up on certain days, especially being a mom, and the priority of like your family or that moment, that work is going to take precedence over going to the gym. It's just going to happen, like
hmm
something. And it's okay if your schedule is like Monday through Friday and something happens and you need to not work out Tuesday and you need to work out Saturday. If you get hurt and like you need to rest and you can't work out Wednesday, work out Saturday, work out Sunday, move it around, split it up. It's not going to affect your training in the magnitude you think it's going to. In prep, you can still do that, but I know it's more serious to stay on a schedule and you want to be consistent. But I will tell you, it doesn't matter. It's okay. So don't over stress about it. I have a lot of moms that'll like really beat themselves up for like, I couldn't make it to the gym today. It's like, girl, it's okay. Just, use a rest day, spend time with your kids, and work out later this week. We'll figure it out. It's okay. So like I get that a lot, like about moving, workouts around, which I'm glad I get it. I'm glad my clients
hmm
ask me it. Um, but just in general, like it won't
We
affect you.
had to like be a little bit creative with the weather too
Oh
this
yeah.
week, and that happens in all different parts of the country, and or like, I mean, I've gone to the gym before and the power was out. you know, like things happen, right? And so, there's sort of like one of two options. You can, like you said, bring in a rest day, or you can get creative and do something else. For me, like I didn't want to waste my leg days like trying to do stuff at home. So if I was going to do stuff at home, I would do shoulders, or like I have bands and dumbbells, and we have a treadmill, so I can do cardio at home. But I think like what is your focus where you're at? Like if you're in a fat loss phase and you're needing to get a workout in, and maybe you can't get to the gym to do 2 hours of training, or maybe you can't even fit in a 30-minute lift or something, but you can move your body, like that's okay too, right? Like, and I always say some minutes are better than no minutes. So I feel like obviously in prep that doesn't cut it. Like if you're prepping for a show, like you've got to train. You
You
can't
gotta
just be
go.
like, oh, I could
Hmm.
only do 20 minutes cardio and my coach said I'd do an hour, right? That doesn't really work. But like for anybody in general, like, sometimes that can be hard when you're getting started and you're trying to carve out the time, and maybe you've been, like spinning your wheels for a while, not seeing results, and it's demotivating, and you're trying to find time to work out. I don't have an hour, so I just won't work out at all. If you can get 20 minutes in, it's still better than
Yeah.
no minutes, right? But I guess in the prep experience, like let's say, you're sick and you have to take time off. Okay, so you need to take 2 rest days. Like it's it's going to be okay. I think quality just becomes more important. Like when I had to miss 4 days last week, I didn't change my nutrition. Like I didn't eat less because I wasn't training. Like I'm not in a surplus right now, anyways. I'm still in a deficit, but I didn't further my deficit
Yeah.
because I'm on the couch. I still need the same amount of protein. I'm only taking off 4 days, and when I went back, I was super, super efficient, made sure that I just made up for lost time and just picked up where I left off. So it can affect you mentally if you let it, but you can't. It's life. I mean, I had to take 4 days off. And if I tried to go back sooner, it would delay my recovery. So, see, I don't know if that's really the question, but I think it's just person by person because I've definitely had where people are like, oh my God, it's Friday and I haven't trained all week. And, kids and life and, they're
I
just,
think that answers the question of like, can you move your workouts around? Like, can you shift your schedule around? Can you do that? Is it going to have like an effect on your progress? But you're right. Like, it does depend on what phase you kind of are in. Because like, I had a client last year, 2 babies, like fresh, new babies, and all she wanted to do was lose the baby weight from like prior. It wasn't this huge jump. It wasn't like 40 pounds. It was like, I think it was like 15. Like, it wasn't anything huge. She did not have a gym membership. She did not have time to go to the gym. She could only work out at home, and she had a part-time job and new babies. And so I created like workouts for her, plans that would work for her for her husband, and it was more about just like learning good habits and like
mhm.
being able to understand like, oh, I should eat this instead of this. I have minutes in the day where I can lay on the floor and do this and that, and I have like all of these things that I can do, but I like instead of having to think, oh, I need to go to the gym and do all of this stuff, like I don't. So at the end, like literally less than 3 months, she had accomplished her goals and she had graduated like our program.
Yeah.
And she was so happy. Like it was before the 3 months were up, and she's like, I fit into my jeans. I'm like, it's all you had to do. So
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, I think there was a study somewhere. I heard this on Mind Pump. And really, like the essential amount of weight training in order to like have good body composition is like 30 minutes of weight training 3 times a week.
yeah,
Obviously that's intense weight training. It's going to be, progressive overload. It's going to be making sure you're hitting all the different body parts. But, sometimes that's hard for an athlete. Maybe they've done a couple of shows and then they have a baby and now they have a new baby and they're like, I'm going to lose weight. And the only way they know how is prep. And
yeah,
that is not going to work with a new baby when you are not sleeping and you're breastfeeding. And the only time you have to yourself is when your baby naps. And during that time, you probably need to be napping too. So
yeah,
that can be really hard for people to like adjust their mindset to realize that you don't actually need to do 90 minutes of fasted cardio and then train glutes 3 times a week and then upper body 3 times a week and pose and stretch. And like that is not needed for like a normal fat loss phase. But I think it's really hard to like scale back and think that it's effective enough if you've only like done that. I see it all the time in people who are like coming to me like, I competed in like 2017 and I had a bad like post show experience. I don't want to compete again, but like I just can't seem to get going. They cannot like unprogram their brain to understand like, okay, had a coach that put you on a bro diet and you did tons of cardio and you did this for 6 months, your best shape of your life. We can get you in the best shape of your life. You don't have to do it that way though.
yeah,
So it's just, I think it's different. So,
yeah. It goes back to
that's a different topic, but
sustainability for sure.
yeah. Oh,
Because
yeah, exactly. And
it's not
habits.
sustainable. Like
Yeah.
you can get to that point both ways. It's just one way is not going to be sustainable than the other, you know?
Yeah,
And so that's
exactly. Like your
it.
client that lost the baby weight, like she's probably maintained it because she
Oh
did it
yeah.
in a way that fit into her lifestyle and
Mhm.
it wasn't obsessive. It wasn't, something that she was like, killing herself to do. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that
And
sometimes that's better.
Yeah, jumping to the extremes to try to fit in new things in her schedule that she knew she couldn't keep. Like she was adamant. She was like, I don't go to the gym and I don't have time to go to the gym. Like, what do I do? I'm like, you don't have to go to the gym. This is what you have to do. And
Yeah.
she's like, okay. And then we would like, it would be fun because she would like go on extra walks with like her kids and all sorts of stuff. So like it was really cute. It was honestly like a really cute journey.
That's
So
how I lost all the baby weight with Brady. We were actually talking about this yesterday. Like I'm sitting with my like almost 17-year-old son. I'm just like, how did you get to be so big all of
yeah.
a sudden? And you know, and his birthday's coming up. So I'm just like, this is crazy to me. Like I don't know how you got to be so old. But I just said to him, I'm like, you know, when you were little, like we were like best buds. We did everything together. And I said, and I used to take you on runs. And he's like, what do you mean? Like I thought you went to the gym with me. And I'm like, no, the gym near our house didn't actually have daycare. So I had a Jeep stroller and I would just run up and down this like long like road sidewalk.
Mhm.
And it was like one way was like 2 miles and the way home was so 4 mile run basically with this jogging stroller. And I would do like intervals and stuff. And all the way to like the 2 mile mark, he would throw everything out of the stroller, shoes, socks, everything he had. Then on the way back, I'd pick everything up. And then if he was sleeping when I got home, I would push the stroller like down the side of the house to the back patio doors and then open the basement doors. Like we had like a walkout basement. And then if he was still sleeping, I would do like push-ups and sit-ups and squats and band work and all that. Lost all the baby weight, never went into the gym. Like I wasn't competing at the time, but I mean, it was just using what
It's
I had and
doable.
just fitting it
Hmm.
in. And, you know, he got fresh air and whatnot. So anyways,
Yeah.
it can
That's
be
a cute
done.
story. I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because there was like kind of a nasty girl at the gym, who like when I did go to the gym was like, "Oh, I know you. I've seen you running down the street," and I'm like, "Look," I was just like, "Aren't we all here for the same goals?" You know, like I was just trying to lose the baby weight, lady. Like, what did you want me to do? So she said her friends had a nickname for me. I don't know what it was, but anyways, but just haters, right? But
Right.
no, I mean that was I had already done a couple of competitions, and I think too, like I remember thinking like when the baby comes out, I'm gonna get back on stage, and I mean I'm like 2 weeks after having him and just going like I can barely find time to wash my hair. Like how am I
Yeah.
gonna prep for another show, right? And then I think I ended up getting on stage around his like first birthday. You know, like once I got back in the gym and could lift weights and build muscle, I competed. So, anyways,
Yeah.
long story.
I feel like the girls that do like not do it just like that, of course, everybody's different. But like when I've worked backstage, like I've met so many girls that are like had a baby within a year of like their training. But it's just like it's I feel like it goes from like, okay, after the baby, you do the rest recovery, and then it's about health. It's about being healthy. And just depending on how that goes, then going back to the gym, how that goes, then it's like, okay, like all that went well for you, and you can turn around and like probably get into a prep. But like not everybody's journey is like that. Like you look at India's like we had her on and she had no idea when she was going to go on stage again. It was just more about being like healthy and finding
Yeah.
the time and seeing when it works best. So
Well, and I had an
everybody,
infant. Like I didn't want to put my newborn baby in like a daycare at the gym too.
yeah,
Like that was part of it too. Like now I'm thinking like, well, how did I end up joining the gym and get on stage that year? But it was once he got past like 6 months,
yeah,
then I
that's what
felt
it
like more
is. The six
comfortable like
months.
taking him to the daycare. I think that was kind of what it was. But there was a gym that was nearby that didn't have a daycare that sometimes every Sunday I'd go and maybe lift weights a little bit, but I
See,
mostly did it all at home because that just fit with my schedule. I was a nurse working nights too. So
yeah. See,
yeah.
when I had Carson, I had Carson. I had stayed with my parents for a little while, and my dad and my mom were like, "Well, just to give you something to do with Carson, we're going to buy you a community center pass, and you can take him swimming to the indoor pools." But of course, the community center had like everything, and so I'd take him to swimming to the little indoor pools. But once he was 6 months, I could do that, and then he could go to the daycare. And so they had this cute little daycare there, and then I started like walking on a trail. I had never worked out like ever. I played soccer. So I like would walk on the treadmill, like walk around. I remember like the first time I got on like an ab machine. Oh my God, I was so like, but yeah, I kind of the same way you were probably a little more knowledgeable, obviously being a nurse, health fitness kind of side, but like I just wung it and was like, I'll just eat rotisserie chicken and green beans and like still go out and like try this and that and like just tried a whole bunch of stuff and eventually like the baby weight I became smarter, but the baby weight fell off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just was like, oh my God, it took a long time because I was like all over the place. But when it eventually did come off, that it's interesting because I lived out in California and people were like, "Oh, you should be a trainer. Oh, you should compete. Oh, you should be an instructor." And Aaron would be like, "What do you want to do?" And I'm like, "I have no idea. Like I have no idea. I've just worked out and like lost weight and I don't know what to do now."
Yeah.
So, and then I competed the next year and I was like, "This. I want to do this."
Yeah, I'm in love with this. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so interesting.
Hmm.
I know. Yeah, I mean, that's how my business really started was after that post-baby transformation
Yeah.
because, like it's one thing when you like lose weight and, look great in your 20s, but like then to do it after a baby and get on stage within a year and, you know, I think I
Hmm.
just, that's kind of where it started and wanting to really help moms. So
Yeah.
anyways, I think we talked about this in probably in our origins episode, right? When we talked about the beginnings of
Maybe. I
us
mean, of
and
course, that
how we
was
got started.
over a year
I
ago.
know. That was in season 1.
Season, the beginnings,
Yes.
the origin
Um,
story.
Next question, because I think I had another good one. Um, well, this is a supplement question. I don't really want to do this one. I mean,
Okay,
it's
do
just
another one.
all it is why would I take a pre-workout? Can't I just drink an energy drink? And
The
I'm not
pre-workout's
going to
gonna
go.
have, yeah, it
Yeah.
just has different ingredients in it. Is the answer to that.
And also there's like if you just want energy, that's one thing,
Yeah.
but like you know, pre-workouts sometimes they have twice as much energy as like an energy drink, so you got to be careful of that too, but they also have other things that like vasodilators and things that help you with a pump and help you perform and whatnot. They're not just
Hmm.
like drinking an Alani or something. So anyways, but my other question was why don't we train chest in bikini?
Because we don't get judged on it. And also, we don't want the muscular definition. You get marked down for that.
I agree with those two things, and I want to add a third reason is because we don't got time. We got
That
other
too.
things to
Okay, yeah.
train. So I sprinkle it in so that I'm not like neglecting any body parts or whatever. Like there's always either push-ups or some sort of like a pec deck or something at least once in my week of training. But I have to build delts and my lats and things that the judges are really judging me on. They are definitely not going like, what you could really use up there is a little bit more muscularity in your chest. It's
Yeah,
not
you
going to
need
make your
that line
boobs look bigger.
definition.
Yeah, it's not going to make your boobs look bigger. It's just not an area we get judged on. But I guess in the spirit of athleticism and being well rounded bodybuilders, we should not neglect body parts. But what I'll often see is like an athlete comes in and her boyfriend is giving her a training plan and she's got like a leg day and like a chest and arms day. And I'm like,
Hmm.
well, it's not like really for bikini, right?
Hmm.
And maybe figure does chest more, but they're obviously judged in a different way than we are, like as far as what the judges are looking for, but they are not judging us on our chest. So it is
Hmm.
just not something. And I mean, again, we talked about this in our last episode. Like, you might like it, like, but also like you have to do what's going to benefit you most. And so spending 40 minutes on a chest workout isn't going to get you,
Yeah.
as much as spending that kind of time on like a delt workout or something like that. So that's basically why you don't work forearms either. That's the same reason we're
Or
not judged
well,
on it,
well,
right?
you really don't work calves either. I want to say every once in a while you'll sprinkle in like calf lifts and stuff like that. And I mean, but most of the time when you're working legs, it's going to get worked out anyways. But like,
And it's something
yeah,
that kind of with like cardio, like I feel like your calves
happens.
and calves are like the toughest muscle group to grow.
Hmm.
Genetically, it's like you got them or you don't, right? Like I have calves on my training plan. I hate training them, but I also don't have great calves. But I've also never been told my calves aren't great. Like no judge has been
Yeah.
like, what's missing is your calves.
You need that nice like round calf muscle.
Now in wellness, you got kick-ass calves. That's a good look, right? Again, it's your
Yeah.
division, right?
Hmm.
So we're not competing
Yeah.
in bodybuilding in like specifically female bodybuilding. We're competing in
Yeah.
bikini bodybuilding. So that's like that's why we don't.
If you
So
are a
and I always
bikini
tell my
bodybuilder, you better like glutes and shoulders. Get it? Glutes and shoulders. There you go.
yeah, but I think too like these questions that we're getting like make sure you also ask your coach too, right? Like I love
Mm,
answering questions. Like I tell all my clients and they're all probably listening because they just like to like get all the nuggets, right? But I'm like,
hmm.
ask everything. Like I have an answer. And if I don't have an answer, I'll find one. And I'm not afraid to say like, actually, I don't know. Hold on 1 minute, right? But I think if you are asking your coach and they are like, don't ask questions, that's a red flag. You
Or they don't
should,
answer them. Like
yeah,
they,
or they don't answer you. But if
yeah.
your coach is like, take this supplement and you ask and they don't tell you why, like you should know this stuff. I think that honestly makes you a better athlete. I think there's more follow through
Hmm.
and more understanding of the sport and more knowledge about your body if you know what you're putting in it and what the reasons are. And then also if you know the reasons and then somebody comes up to you at the gym and tries to tell you like, oh, you should do this. You're like, well, no, I know why I'm doing this. My coach said it's this and this is the reason why and this is the plan. You don't have to worry about what every like Joe Blow at the gym is telling you you should do based on what they think or what they've heard, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I will tell you this story. I'm pretty sure I've told you this story personally. I don't know if I've ever told it on a podcast. Through my time of expediting, of course, I saw numerous amount of people multiple times. Okay. I say that because I there was a competitor, bikini competitor, beautiful girl. I want to say it was in 2021, 21 or 22. I can't remember what year. She won her class. I think she even won the overall at a show I worked. And she was just a great looking girl. Okay. Went to nationals, didn't get her pro card, took time off, came back. Okay. She came back and she didn't even win her open class. She did another show, still didn't win her open class. And I remember like talking to like she came and she talked to one of my friends that's a bikini pro and like asked my friend some questions, and it was like, what was going on here? Like, what happened? How did somebody that was like top 5 at a national show drop so far back, and no insult to her, this is just a sport, this is just like if you were
Mm-hmm.
good at throwing a football one year and you're shitty at it one year, what happened? So she didn't have a coach. She did not have a coach, and she basically did her own tan, her own hair, her own makeup, her own suit color. She changed her suit color. Her training was different, so her structure had changed quite a bit. You can see this all in the photos. But there's just a dramatic change in the time. This is why, like, being consistent with a coach, judges feedback, the more knowledge, the better. Because if she would have known that before, her training would have been different. She would have never changed her suit color. Her tan would have probably been done different in a different shade or
Yeah.
done it professionally. Like, so just don't think that like cutting corners and be like, oh well, I know now. It's like, no, just like ask your coach. The more you know, the better. You can be better as you go on. Like, you're not going to know the answers the first year, second year. We still don't know all the answers.
No, it
It's just
takes
through
so
like
long to learn
it's
even your body. And
yeah.
like I remember watching Jen Dory's Road to the Olympia, and she was like analyzing her like progress photos, and she's like, I'm so hard on myself. That's why I always have Mark and I have this other Jamie, like keeping an eye on everything, because like this is a woman who's was had already been Miss Olympia, knows everything, right? You need a second set of eyes, because you looking at you is not enough, because you could be like, damn, I look good, right? But the people looking at you are able to see you and think about who you're going to be next to, what the division's looking for, and they have no subjectivity other than just like, they just know your body, right? So I think
Yeah, the
that,
data.
yeah, like somebody to just be like, oh, I know what to do. It's like, well, you might, but also like it's different, and you need somebody to be able to look and go, no, we need to, this is getting to be out of balance of this, or this is not as conditioned as it should be, or that's not looking full enough. Like, I just don't know how in prep with when you're exhausted and you're like, emotional, and you're sometimes you might feel like a busted can of biscuits, and your coach is like, you're on the money, and you're like, what? Like, you just can't. I don't think you can do that for yourself. That's why I think coaching is just like, I mean, just get a
It's needed.
coach. Like, just get
Yeah.
somebody, just
Yeah.
somebody good. But if you can't afford somebody good, I get it. I think it's an investment. I always say like coaching just gets you somewhere faster. Like, if that's your goal and you're going to get there, you're probably going to get there. But if you have a coach and you have a good coach, you're going to get there faster, because that person's going to be able to like, you know, give you the roadmap to follow, make sure you follow it, keep you accountable, bring you in at your best, we hope. But I think that that's really what you're paying for.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that kind of answered quite a few questions. We
Hmm.
kind of went on good few tangents. I think we covered a lot this episode, and you know, I think we did good. But
Yeah, pretty good for a
I've
snow week and
I
just a
know.
lot of shenanigans. I was at the beginning of this episode, I have a kiddo sick on the couch, like vomiting, and she's taking a nap. So we took a little time to just
Yeah.
hurry up and knock this out, because we wanted to make sure we put out an episode this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you've got any questions, like you can definitely message us on Instagram, Facebook. You can leave comments below in Spotify and in YouTube. And yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And if you guys also, anybody listening, if you're looking for coaching, whether it's lifestyle or for prep, both Jillian and I and other coaches on our team are taking on clients right now. If you are just thinking about competing but aren't sure and just kind of want to get started, we're here for you every step of the way. So, like Jillian said, you can comment on any of the platforms. If you have questions, also same, you can comment or DM us. But thank you guys, and stay warm if you live in the Midwest.
Stay warm.
Bye.
Okay, bye.